Oh, you believed that the turmoil with Kirk and Rashidita was finally over? Don't believe it, since Jasmine just ignited the internet, and this time there is concrete evidence rather than just hearsay. A hazy screenshot began making the rounds in the hip-hop and love fan groups late yesterday night, and the texts were quite apparent when enlarged. Results of a DNA test minus 99, 9% paternity, and Kirk Frost, the name at the top. Here's the twist that's shocking many, however. It was screen captured, shared, and published all over the place in a matter of minutes after Jasmine herself uploaded it to her private story. Fans of Rashidita are exploding. Despite Kirk's silence, the blogosphere are already referring to it as the year's worst treachery. This is no longer only rumors. This is the exposing of receipts, and a scandal is going to erupt. Silently, almost suspiciously, the darkness started. The typical reposts from love and hip-hop fan sites, along with the odd fashion selfie, will be the only content. No controversy, no shade messages, and no subliminal photos. It had been weeks since Kirk Frost had appeared in public. Rashidita was occupied with marketing Jasmine and her clothes brand. Well, until 10:47 p.m., Jasmine had been strangely quiet. At that point, the Jasmine posted a single picture to her private Instagram story, which she only lets her closest friends see. There was just a sheet of paper on what seemed to be a kitchen, with no fancy filter, title, or soundtrack. Counter. DNA test results were blasted over the top in large capital letters. And immediately under that, under the heading Alleged Father, was the name Kirk Frost. Some individuals briefly believed it to be a hoax. It's a plot grab and a clout maneuver. However, when fans, they spotted it as they zoomed in. The chance of paternity is 9%, and a heavy black marker was used to redact the mother's name. The date of the baby's birth, however, was less than a year ago. At the beginning, mayhem broke out quickly. Just a few of perhaps 20 individuals at most saw the tale. However, this is the world of reality TV. Nothing is kept secret for very long. A well-known love and hip-hop tea page saw it when someone screen recorded it, cropped it, and shared it on Twitter with the remark, Jasmine, are you trying to tell us something? The tweet garnered just 200 likes. By 11:30 p.m., it was all over. Tell me, Kirk. 999. You're finished, sir. Tell me, Rashida, that you saw this before the others did. Charge began spreading like wildfire in a matter of minutes. Kirk Frost baby controversy. Receptions for Jasmine goat race. Second bab verified. Oh, so this is why Kirk has been wearing that guilty, a fan said on Twitter. Rashida better go live before Jasmine wins the narrative, another said, referring to the recent church face. The shade room then became engaged at precisely 12:04 a.m. The blurry screenshot was shared with the comment, Jasmine isn't playing any games tonight. Any ideas? The area for comments, I've been warning for years that Kirk isn't loyal. And some people thought Jasmine was finally going clean and revealing the truth when it turned into an immediate battle zone. Others weren't persuaded. Jasmine isn't doing this because the program needs viewers. The guy has a monogamous allergy. You can't deny that she waited for the cameras to film, but the fact that the DNA test was conducted just 3 months earlier was the detail that made everyone go crazy. Since this was a new controversy rather than a stale one from 10 years ago, the cheating, if it occurred, must have taken place when Kirk was grinning for the cameras and playing the role of the loyal husband and supporting Rashida's powerful black family brand. Overnight, fans turned into amateur investigators. Someone brought up Jasmine's, some delved into Kirk's timeline, highlighting a questionable 3-day business trip, while others referred to old postings, including a photo from the previous year in which she wore the same countertop backdrop as the one in the DNA shot. Around the time the kid would have been conceived, he traveled to Miami, and by 1:30 a.m., celebrity blogs had joined. The genes don't lie, Gossip of the City said in a collage that contrasted the baby's side profile with one of Kirk's boys during the feeding frenzy. The threads in Lipstick Alley were already 15 pages long. The cast was unable to remain quiet for long as people began analyzing every detail of the DNA test images. Carly Red was the first to speak out, sharing a selfie with the caption, "Hey boo, the math isn't working." Spice uploaded the DNA sample on her account, but people understood precisely who she was referring to even though she didn't tag anybody. Using only Sierra and a couple of side-eye emojis, she said, "Told y'all," with large white lettering set on a black backdrop. Rashidita's social media accounts, however, were completely silent. No reposts, likes, or motivational sayings. Just nothing. That's more terrifying than any tirade in the love and hip-hop world, because Rashida's quiet often indicates that she's either furious and planning her next move, or that she's about to deliver the most vicious backstabbing the program has ever seen. Rumors began. According to many sources, the network apparently sniffed ratings gold, and a producer had already phoned Jasmine and Kirk to inform them they wanted to record a sit-down as soon as possible. By morning, the story had spread beyond the LNH world, with hip-hop blogs, gossip radio programs, and even some mainstream publications covering it. If reality TV is good at anything, it's milking people's emotional suffering for primetime entertainment. The topic of discussion had shifted from Kirk to loyalty, treachery, and if Rashida had known all along and kept it a secret to preserve their reputation. Some supporters stood up for her, stating, "Until Rashida speaks, we cannot judge her. It's difficult to be married." Others were far less understanding. This is what happens when you disregard the warning signs. Sis remained after the first baby. In the midst of all of this, with only one follow-up story and a close-up of her manicured hand clutching a baby's bottle, Jasmine remained strangely composed. The caption read, "Receipts. Don't tell lies." Jasmine had just made a queen's move. In a chess game, flipping the table and knocking over the pieces, leaving Kirk with nothing to do except resign. The most absurd part, Kirk and Rashidita's marriage may not withstand what comes next, according to those close to her who were already speculating that she wasn't finished yet, and that the DNA test was just the beginning of what she had. By the time the sun rose, Jasmine had transformed from another hip-hop ex and love interest to the woman who now controlled Kirk Frost's whole reputation. Fans were constantly checking her Instagram, and the DNA test post was still being posted on all the gossip sites. Was the morning news. When she went live at 10:02 a.m., no one knew whether she would walk it back or double down, but the notice came like a siren. Thousands of people joined Jasmine Washington live in less than 2 minutes, and her face dominated the screen with a youthful but solemn appearance. She didn't spend time saying hello or niceties, so I suppose you all noticed. She started out with a calm yet piercing tone. It's not photoshopped, but it's genuine, and yes, it is Kirk's kid. Instantly, the comments erupted. "Where is Rashidita? Girl, stop telling the complete thing, not the first thing in the morning DNA receipts." Jasmine sipped her cold coffee, looked around the confusion, and then moved forward, almost, "What's crazy?" she whispered. This did not have to end this way. I made an effort to keep it quiet. I made an effort to manage everything, off camera, off Instagram, etc. Kirk, however, wanted to pretend that I was lying to him and that I was attempting to trick him. Here we are then. After arriving at Offren, she returned with a big manila folder containing further documents, court files, copies of text messages. Fans in the live comments were losing it, and Jasmine grinned as she touched the stack and said, "And just to be clear, this is not all I got." Their thoughts. Put down the bank statements. Is she going to reveal his financial situation as well? Girl, we need more. As Jasmine continued to speak, the live audience soared above 20,000. She disclosed that the infant in issue was now 8 months old and that Kirk had reportedly been discreetly providing for the child's financial needs. "He's been sneaking around thinking he's slick," she added. "But there's been no public acknowledgement, no family photos, just quiet direct deposits and secret visits. While he's on TV grinning in Rashidita's face like he's the husband of the year, I'm the one taking care of the baby, the medical appointments, and everything else." For those who were wondering, yes, Rashida knows. She then revealed the information that sent shockwaves through the comments. She has been well known for months. She just didn't anticipate my going public. That one statement caused a seismic shift in the internet. People filter Rashida was nowhere to be found, with no stories, tweets, or even a vague "God got me" post. But her silence was beginning to seem less like shock and betrayal. The video was captured instantaneously, reposted, with titles like Rashidita Benu, and the treachery is triple-sided. More like planning, since she was reading comments aloud on Jasmine's live when news broke that a Love and Hip Hop camera team had been seen driving up to her store by midday. "I'm doing this for a storyline, baby," someone remarked. "You believe that I intend to have Kirk's second child?" The plotline wrote itself. "Why now?" she was asked directly by one admirer. "While he's still married." "Because I'm tired. Tired of him. Tired of him. Trying to control the narrative. Tired of being the one who looks like the liar while he plays victim," Jasmine said after pausing for a long period before responding. "If you're looking for the truth, this is it." Subsequently, as if on cue, a commenter said that they were at the Old Candy Boris restaurant in Atlanta and had just saw Kirk sitting in a corner booth on his phone, seeming to have seen a ghost. The remark went viral on its own. By the time Jasmine's live stream concluded, over 35,000 viewers had turned in, and the rebroadcast spread more quickly than the DNA. People were making fun of Kirk while he was eating lemon pepper wings and his whole life was burning down. Memes equating Jasmine's composed delivery to the villain revelation in Atella appeared. And just when everyone thought it couldn't get more messier, it did. The screenshot showed followers analyzing every single word she spoke. An Instagram user purporting to be the baby's godmother shared a picture around 1:15 p.m. Kirk was seen cuddling a bundled-up baby in a fuzzy shot with the remark, "He said nobody would ever see this picture. I'm sorry." The websites quickly picked that up, and now there was a face, albeit a half-hidden one, to accompany the controversy. At 2:07 p.m. Dorchaus, Rashidita finally made a move. M shared a blank screen with white letters on her Instagram story saying, "You play dumb games, you win dumb. Rewards. God bless." Fans bonded right away despite the lack of names or tags. The dots. Her latest postings were inundated with comments. "Sis, we must live. Blink twice. Rashidita, let Carly take you to the lawyer's office if you're done with him." By the evening, the tale had made the leap from blogs to mainstream entertainment. Love and hip-hop artist Kirk Frost is accused of fathering a second kid after a DNA test was released, according to the headline in TMZ. If Jasmine is lying, she has some of the best Photoshop skills in Atlanta, but nobody could deny the damage was done, one host on Hot 97 said during the discussion. The evidence was with Jasmine. Rashida was once again publicly humiliated and Kirk was trapped, and the most terrifying aspect for Kirk. Jasmine intimated that she had one more receipt that would put a stop to the talk, and if she does drop it, it may ruin Kirk's whole career by the time the sun sets over Atlanta, in addition to ruining his marriage. From a botched Instagram moment to a full-fledged app reality TV problem, the controversy had grown, and Oven hip-hop producers were not only observing the drama, but were organizing. Cameras were rolling when vehicles pulled up to Frost Bistro, Kirk and Rashidita's restaurant, and two of Rashidita's boutiques. Rashidita was seated behind the counter with her phone facing down in front of her. The tight, unconcerned face that fans quickly recognized, the one that signaled she was only one insult away from losing it, was in place of her customary high-energy grin. "Have you seen Jasmine's posts?" Two producers sat across from her, mics clipped to their shirts, doing their best to ease her into the discussion. A producer inquired softly, and Rashidita laughed quietly, not with laughter, but with utter incredulity. "Everyone has seen M. My mother has seen M. Baby has seen M. The leader of my church has probably seen M. Shoot. K-wrestlers have seen M. What I ain't seen is my husband explaining a damn thing," she said, leaning back and crossing her arms. Cut to Kirk on the other side of town. He was alone in the dining room, pacing in a dimly lit Frost Bistro, his phone glued to his ear, his conversation low and frantic, and while the staff had been instructed not to interfere, the camera managed to record him. The public wasn't purchasing any of the pieces, therefore it wasn't intended to become public. I'll take care of it. Blown out of proportion story, however, and the controversy was being devoured by social media. Memes of Kirk's notorious Season 6 confession scene, in which he confessed to previously cheating on Rashida, were all over Twitter, with captions like, "History repeats itself when you refuse to prepare for the exam." It wasn't just about damage management, however, and the true turning point occurred that night when VH1 called an emergency cast meeting to discuss the matter. The arrangement was straightforward. 3 seats, A slick black background and cameras everywhere. They knew that if they could have all 3 guys in one room, the ratings would be enormous. Producers remained behind the cameras, allowing the tension to boil as Kirk sat on one end, Rashidita in the center, and Jasmine on the other. After a whole 30 seconds of silence, Jasmine said in a nonchalant, even sarcastic tone, "Are you going to say it or should I?" Rashidita's gaze turned toward Kirk, who didn't look at her. "There's nothing to say, Jasmine." "Really, Kirk? Of course. It seems like everyone on the internet believes you have something to contribute." With a sly smile, Jasmine pulled the identical manila folder from her live feed and said, "The baby is yours." The air was so thick you could cut it. "I've been helping you out because that's what I do. And you've been paying for him in silence." Kirk glanced up at last, his jaw clenched. "It's a DNA test, Kirk, so don't assume Rashida helped her by slamming her palm on the armrest. 99.9%. This is your kid, unless you have a twin brother that I'm not aware of." Even the camera team seemed to hold their breath as the room became quiet, and Jasmine leaned forward. "What's crazy is that he told me he would tell you, saying he just needed to find the proper moment." Since the H1 was streaming this emergency meeting for maximum publicity, the comment area on the livestream went crazy, so I guess that moment never arrived. Kirk received Rashidita's patience is unmatched. Jasmine did not show up for the game, captured in 4K once again. "You think that's the only reason I went public?" "No, I went public because Kirk was going to cut me off." Then Jasmine revealed the unexpected twist. Off. And I had evidence of why. She dug into the folder once again, removing images of what seemed to be text exchanges between Kirk and another lady. Rashidita gazed at the printouts, her lips squeezed into a narrow line, the dates recent, the words explicit, not merely flirting. "So, let me get this straight," she replied slowly, her distaste on her face speaking for itself without her having to read them out loud. "You have another child? Are you still creeping? And you believe that on national television, you will make me appear foolish?" Kirk lowered his head and murmured something under his breath, but the microphone picked it up. "Nah, we done," he said. This wasn't how it was meant to happen. The cameras followed Rashidita to the parking lot, where she climbed into her vehicle and slammed the door after straightening her jacket and leaving the stage without saying another word. Jasmine was going through her folder like she was going over a case file, while Kirk sat still within. "You might want to get comfortable, Kirk, 'cause I'm just getting started," Jasmine said. Within minutes, the video of Rashidita leaving was making waves on social media, with some praising it as her queen moment and others questioning if she would really leave him this time. Carly said, "Never one to miss an opportunity," broadcast live from her vehicle that there are no secrets in Atlanta except for the crazy part, he said as the night went on. Production-related sources said that this meeting was not the last one. Jasmine was already planning to bring the finished product to a follow-up recording. She said there was something that would make Kirk regret ever touching a camera. This following step looked like the explosion if the DNA test was the spark. The dust hadn't cleared 2 days after Rashida's spectacular walkout and the emergency meeting. The fire had spread, if anything. There were a ton of suggestions about what Jasmine's alleged last piece may be on every entertainment site, YouTube gossip channel, and Twitter thread. B. A covert video and bank documents demonstrating hush money payments were among the rumors. However, the internet went crazy when it was revealed that VH1 was flying in an unknown guest for the next filming. Who may it be? Another female? A relative? The baby's actual godparent, maybe? The conjecture seemed unending. Frost Bistro was approved for shooting by the afternoon of the recording. Once again, the dark background appeared, but this time an additional chair was available. Jasmine sat where she always sits, calm and prepared for the camera. Kirk was already there, his jaw tightened, baseball hat pulled low, and a weary expression on his face. "Not yet in sight, Rashida." The signal came from the producers. The cameras rolled. Jasmine crossed her legs and held the notorious manila folder like a loaded gun on her lap. With that false sweetness that only reality TV professionals can pull off, she said. "So, you ready to do this, Kirk?" Kirk let out a slow breath. "Jasmine, I'm here, ain't I? Let's just get this over with. She grinned. It wasn't warm, however. Oh, we will. The doors then opened. With her heels clicking on the floor like gunshots, Rashida entered, dressed in high-waisted jeans and a striking crimson jacket. She took a moment to glance at Kirk. Rather, she proceeded directly to the third chair and folded her arms while sitting. I'm present. That's the baby's godmother, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievably, she has also been having affairs with Kirk. The producers were so shocked that their mouths almost fell open. This wasn't Kirk squirmed uneasily in the pre-taping notes, murmuring, "That's not even true." However, Jasmine had already taken screenshots of the text exchanges that Kirk and the unidentified lady exchanged. The texts were full of information regarding their meetings, including